Surah Ikhlas, though brief in words, holds infinite depths within the heart of the seeker. Ibn Arabi spoke of a hidden light within this surah, a light that is revealed when it is recited 3 times with presence and understanding. This hidden light is not merely a metaphor, it is a transformative energy, a subtle illumination of the soul that awakens the inner eye to the unity and reality of the divine. The threefold recitation is not repetition for ritual alone, but a conscious alignment of the heart, mind, and spirit with the eternal oneness of God, creating a resonance that unveils spiritual truths often hidden from ordinary perception. Reciting Surah Ikhlas 3 times is not just a ritualistic practice. It is a profound spiritual exercise that guides the seeker into a deeper understanding of Tawhid, the absolute and indivisible oneness of God. At first glance, the surah appears simple, consisting of only a few short verses, yet within these verses lies an ocean of divine knowledge and spiritual truth. Ibn Arabi, the great mystic, often emphasized that the human heart must first recognize that all diversity, all forms, all apparent separations in existence ultimately arise from a single, infinite, and absolute source. This source is God, who is beyond any limitation, beyond any distinction, and beyond any comparison. The act of reciting the surah 3 times serves as a meditative reminder that every aspect of creation, every event, every being, and every moment is a reflection, however small, of this singular divine reality. When one recites Surah Ikhlas 3 times, it is not merely the tongue that is moving, but the heart, mind, and soul are being engaged in a subtle and intricate alignment. Ibn Arabi taught that repetition is a key to spiritual realization because it allows the words to sink beyond superficial understanding and touch the very depths of the soul. The first recitation may bring awareness to the literal meaning of the words. The second recitation allows the consciousness to dwell on the profound implications, and the third recitation opens a subtle doorway to direct experiential recognition of God's oneness. Through this process, the seeker begins to perceive that all multiplicity is in reality unified, and the apparent differences and distinctions in the world are like reflections of one light in countless mirrors. Each mirror may appear different, but the light that shines through them all is the same, unbroken and eternal. Ibn Arabi often described this process as a journey from intellectual comprehension to experiential realization. The first stage involves understanding with the mind that God is one, that there is no reality outside the divine essence. However, intellectual understanding alone cannot fully awaken the heart or the soul. By reciting Surah Ikhlas 3 times, the seeker allows the words to resonate within, creating a subtle vibration that aligns the heart with the divine reality. This resonance awakens recognition within the soul, a direct, intuitive awareness that the unity of God is not a concept to be studied, but a living reality to be experienced. In other words, the recitation bridges the gap between knowledge and realization, between understanding and being. Ibn Arabi emphasized that God's oneness is not only a metaphysical truth, but a practical, living experience that touches every aspect of human life. Recognizing the unity of God transforms the way a person perceives the world, interacts with others, and understands their own existence. When the seeker fully grasps that all multiplicity arises from a single source, the distinctions that often cause anxiety, judgment, or division begin to dissolve. One sees all creatures as connected manifestations of the same divine essence, and this perception fosters compassion, humility, and a deep sense of peace. The threefold recitation of Surah Ikhlas serves as a tool to cultivate this awareness, training the heart to perceive beyond appearances and to sense the indivisible unity that underlies all existence. The repetition of Surah Ikhlas creates a spiritual rhythm that mirrors the natural harmony of creation itself. Just as the universe flows according to divine laws, the repeated recitation aligns the seeker with this rhythm, allowing them to move from distraction and mental clutter into a state of inner stillness. In this stillness, the heart becomes receptive to the subtle guidance of God, and the soul begins to recognize the hidden threads of unity that connect all things. Each utterance is like a step along a path that leads the seeker deeper into awareness, and each repetition reinforces the understanding that behind the manifold forms and phenomena lies a single, unchanging reality. This understanding is not merely philosophical, it is experiential, practical, and transformative, affecting the way one lives, feels, and engages with the world. Ibn Arabi described the recognition of God's oneness as an awakening of the inner eye, or al-basir al-batin, which allows the seeker to perceive the divine presence in all aspects of life. Through threefold recitation, the seeker learns to perceive subtle patterns, to feel the divine unity behind apparent multiplicity, and to sense the interconnectedness of all creation. This is why the surah, though brief, is called a key to spiritual illumination. It is capable of awakening the hidden light within the soul, revealing the eternal truth that God's oneness encompasses all things, yet is itself beyond comprehension. By meditating on this reality through repetition, the seeker aligns with the divine essence, and the heart gradually transforms, shedding illusions of separation and embracing the truth of unity that Ibn Arabi so passionately described. Reciting Surah Ikhlas 3 times is an invitation to go beyond the surface meaning of words and enter into the living reality of God's oneness. It is a practice that transforms the mind, purifies the heart, and awakens the soul to the eternal presence of the divine in every aspect of existence. Each repetition is a bridge that connects human consciousness with the infinite, a path toward realizing that all multiplicity, all diversity, all change and form are expressions of a singular, indivisible, and eternal reality. This understanding is the foundation of spiritual awakening, and through consistent practice, the seeker experiences the profound peace, clarity, and illumination that arise from truly recognizing the oneness of God, as Ibn Arabi so beautifully taught. The recitation of Surah Ikhlas 3 times is not only an expression of devotion, but also a profound method for cultivating an inner awakening, a subtle yet transformative process that gradually illuminates the soul. Ibn Arabi, the great mystic, often described this hidden light as an energy that dwells quietly within the human heart, waiting to be discovered through sincere practice and attentive presence. This inner light is not sudden or overwhelming. It does not announce itself with grandeur or dramatic revelations. Instead, it works in gentle, almost imperceptible ways, gradually penetrating the layers of worldly distraction, habitual thought patterns, and the often rigid structures of the ego. In essence, the recitation of Ikhlas 3 times acts as a key, allowing the seeker to unlock deeper levels of consciousness that remain dormant under ordinary conditions. When the surah is recited with full awareness, its words create subtle vibrations that resonate within the heart and mind. These vibrations are more than mere sounds. They carry divine energy that interacts with the spiritual faculties of the seeker. Each repetition draws attention inward, inviting the practitioner to move beyond the surface of the mind and into the quiet inner sanctuary of the soul. In this inner space, the seeker begins to experience a shift in perception, where distractions fade and clarity gradually emerges. Ibn Arabi emphasizes that this clarity is not intellectual, but experiential. It is the awakening of an intuitive understanding, a direct knowing that arises when the heart becomes receptive to divine illumination. The process of inner awakening through Surah Ikhlas is akin to the slow rising of dawn after a long night. At first, only a faint light is visible, a gentle stirring that hints at something greater beyond immediate perception. With continued practice and attentive recitation, the light grows steadily, revealing patterns and harmonies within the soul that were previously hidden. These patterns are subtle, sometimes manifesting as insights, a heightened sensitivity to the interconnectedness of life, or an increased awareness of the inner states of thought and emotion. The light does not force itself upon the seeker but invites recognition, encouraging a deep engagement with the present moment and the sacred rhythm of existence. Ibn Arabi teaches that this inner light manifests in multiple ways. It brings clarity, helping the seeker distinguish between superficial desires and the deeper longings of the soul. It fosters insight, allowing one to perceive connections, truths, and realities that are often obscured by ordinary perception. Most importantly, it nurtures a profound sense of presence, a quiet awareness of the divine in every moment. The inner awakening is therefore not an abstract concept. It is a lived, dynamic experience that transforms the way the seeker relates to themselves, to others, and to the world. Through the repeated recitation of Ikhlas, the practitioner aligns more fully with the subtle currents of existence, allowing the hidden light to illuminate the path forward with grace and wisdom. This awakening is also a form of purification. As the light penetrates the layers of ego, pride, and attachment, it creates space for humility, receptivity, and inner harmony. The seeker becomes more attuned to the subtle promptings of the soul, learning to recognize the difference between fleeting impulses and the enduring guidance of divine wisdom. Ibn Arabi often emphasized that spiritual progress is measured not by outward accomplishments, but by the degree to which the inner faculties awaken to the hidden light within. Reciting Ikhlas 3 times provides a structured practice that supports this growth, gently guiding the practitioner into deeper states of awareness and spiritual sensitivity. The inner awakening facilitated by Ikhlas is transformative in the way it shapes daily life. As the light begins to shine within, the seeker experiences increased patience, discernment, and compassion. Decisions become informed by a deeper understanding of reality, and interactions with others are colored by empathy and wisdom. The subtle illumination does not create separation from the world. Rather, it enhances engagement, allowing the practitioner to navigate life with clarity, balance, and a sense of connectedness to the divine source of all existence. In this way, the inner light becomes both a personal guide and a reflection of the unity and harmony that underlies creation. It is important to note that this inner awakening is a process that requires sincerity, patience, and mindfulness. The hidden light of Ikhlas does not respond to mechanical repetition or routine practice alone. It requires that the heart be present, that the words be felt deeply, and that the mind be attentive to the subtle shifts in awareness that accompany each recitation. Ibn Arabi reminds seekers that the awakening is gradual, often unfolding over time as the layers of ego and distraction are gently lifted. With each repetition, the light penetrates more deeply, revealing previously hidden aspects of the self and opening the heart to divine guidance that is always available yet often unnoticed. The threefold recitation of Surah Ikhlas is a doorway to an inner awakening that transcends ordinary understanding. It allows the seeker to experience the hidden light not as a distant concept, but as a living, dynamic reality within themselves. This awakening cultivates clarity, insight, and a profound sense of presence, illuminating the soul with subtle energy that guides, comforts, and transforms. The practice reminds us that true spiritual realization is not an external acquisition, but an internal recognition of the divine presence within. By dedicating attention, intention, and devotion to this practice, the seeker can gradually awaken the hidden light, allowing it to shine softly yet powerfully, guiding the soul toward greater understanding, harmony, and unity with the eternal reality that Ibn Arabi so eloquently described. Ibn Arabi teaches that the ultimate truths of spiritual life cannot be fully grasped through external actions or rituals alone, no matter how disciplined or regular they may be. While practices such as prayer, fasting, and recitation have their value, the deepest and most transformative experiences emerge from the heart, which functions as the essential gateway to the hidden light within. The heart, in this context, is not simply a physical organ or an emotional center, but a profound spiritual faculty capable of perceiving realities that the intellect alone cannot comprehend. It is through the heart that divine illumination becomes accessible, allowing the seeker to experience the sacred truths of existence directly rather than as abstract concepts. When one engages with Surah Ikhlas and recites it 3 times with sincerity and full attention, the heart is gradually awakened to subtle vibrations and energies that flow through it, establishing a receptive space where divine realities can be sensed, felt, and internalized. This practice invites the seeker to move beyond ordinary consciousness, where the mind and ego often dominate perception, interpreting reality through preconceptions, desires, and habitual thinking. In the ordinary state of awareness, the mind imposes divisions, distinctions, and judgments that obscure the underlying unity of existence. The ego clings to identity, status, and control, creating a veil between the individual and the divine reality that surrounds and permeates all life. By reciting Surah Ikhlas 3 times with mindfulness, the seeker begins to shift attention from the restless, analytical mind to the still, receptive space of the heart. The heart becomes a living instrument, capable of sensing the subtle currents of existence, perceiving the underlying unity, and recognizing the presence of the divine in all things. Ibn Arabi repeatedly emphasizes that it is this inner faculty, not the intellect alone, that opens the door to direct experience and intimate connection with God. When the heart becomes the gateway, it transforms the way the seeker experiences the world. Ordinary perception, limited by superficial appearances and dualistic thinking, gradually gives way to a holistic vision, where all phenomena are understood as expressions of a singular divine reality. Through repeated recitation of Surah Ikhlas, the seeker attunes to the rhythm and vibration of sacred words, which act as a bridge linking human consciousness to the infinite. This bridge is subtle and often imperceptible at first, but with sincerity and patience, it strengthens, allowing the heart to perceive realities that transcend time, space, and conventional understanding. Ibn Arabi teaches that this awareness is not merely conceptual, it is a living, dynamic experience that transforms the seeker's relationship with themselves, others, and the universe. The heart as a gateway is intimately connected to the notion of presence. When reciting Surah Ikhlas 3 times, the seeker is encouraged to focus fully on each word, allowing its meaning, vibration, and energy to resonate deeply within. In doing so, the heart opens to the hidden light, creating a space where awareness expands beyond the limitations of ego and thought. In this expanded state, the seeker begins to recognize the interconnectedness of all life, the seamless continuity between inner and outer reality, and the manifestation of divine unity in every aspect of existence. The heart becomes the central point where the physical, emotional, and spiritual dimensions converge, enabling the seeker to experience a profound alignment with the divine will and a sense of harmony with the cosmos. Ibn Arabi also emphasizes that the gateway of the heart is not a passive receptor, but an active participant in spiritual realization. By engaging with the recitation consciously, the heart awakens, becoming sensitive to subtle energies that ordinary awareness often misses. This sensitivity allows the seeker to perceive guidance, insight, and clarity that illuminate the path of spiritual growth. The hidden light that enters through this gateway is transformative. It purifies the heart, softens rigid patterns of thought, and dissolves barriers erected by fear, desire, and egoic attachments. In this state, the seeker experiences a direct connection with the divine presence, one that is immediate, intimate, and transformative, allowing spiritual truths to be understood not as abstract ideas, but as lived realities that shape every thought, feeling, and action. The heart as a gateway also encourages the seeker to cultivate humility, patience, and receptivity. The awakening does not occur through force, intellectual effort, or ambition, but through gentle, attentive engagement with the sacred practice. Repeating Surah Ikhlas 3 times with awareness becomes a disciplined yet nurturing process in which the seeker's consciousness gradually aligns with the subtle divine currents. Over time, this practice fosters an experiential knowledge of unity, where the heart recognizes that the apparent multiplicity of life is unified in essence and that the divine presence permeates all existence. The seeker begins to see beyond the superficial, noticing divine patterns, subtle synchronicities, and the interconnectedness of all beings, leading to an understanding of existence as a seamless manifestation of the hidden light of God. The recitation of Surah Ikhlas 3 times with sincere attention transforms the heart into a living gateway through which the seeker can access the hidden light. This inner awakening is profound yet gentle, revealing the divine presence that has always been near but often unnoticed amidst the distractions of the mind and the clamor of the ego. By cultivating awareness, presence, and sincerity, the seeker learns to perceive reality through the heart rather than the intellect alone, entering a state where the unity of all existence is directly experienced. The heart, as Ibn Arabi teaches, is not merely a center of feeling or thought, but the ultimate doorway to the divine, capable of receiving illumination, guidance, and insight that transforms the entire life of the seeker. Through this practice, the seeker moves closer to the realization of the hidden light, experiencing the intimate and continuous presence of the divine within and around them. The recitation of Surah Ikhlas 3 times holds a profound power that extends far beyond the simplicity of repeating words. Ibn Arabi emphasizes that the true strength of this practice does not reside merely in the quantity of repetitions, but in the conscious engagement and awareness with which each repetition is performed. When the surah is recited with full attention and sincerity, the words begin to resonate within the inner being, creating a subtle, transformative vibration that aligns the seeker with the deeper currents of divine light. This resonance is not audible to the ear alone. It is felt within the heart, mind, and soul, gently awakening spiritual faculties that may have lain dormant due to distraction, habitual thinking, or attachment to the material world. In this way, repetition becomes a tool not for mere memorization, but for spiritual attunement, drawing the seeker gradually closer to the hidden realities of existence. Ibn Arabi describes this resonance as a gentle vibration that permeates the innermost layers of the human consciousness. With each repetition, the seeker experiences a subtle yet profound shift in perception, as if the rhythm of the words synchronizes with the rhythm of the soul itself. The first recitation begins the process, stirring the latent awareness of the heart and inviting the mind to observe its usual patterns and distractions. The second repetition deepens this awareness, quieting the constant chatter of thought and dissolving the layers of resistance or attachment that obscure spiritual perception. By the third recitation, a remarkable harmony emerges within the inner being, a resonance that vibrates in harmony with the hidden light of God, allowing the seeker to experience a direct, intimate connection with the divine presence that permeates all creation. This resonance, created through repetition, has a profound effect on both the mind and the heart. Ibn Arabi teaches that when the mind becomes still, it no longer dominates perception, and the heart gains the capacity to perceive subtle energies and hidden patterns within the soul. The recitation of Ikhlas 3 times, performed with mindfulness, creates a meditative rhythm that enables the seeker to step beyond ordinary awareness and enter a space of heightened sensitivity. In this space, the heart becomes an instrument capable of sensing the divine presence in all things, while the soul begins to recognize the sacred harmony that underlies every aspect of creation. It is a resonance that fosters clarity, insight, and inner calm, dissolving the distractions of the material world and allowing the seeker to dwell in the quiet, profound awareness of unity. The process of repetition as resonance also engages the deeper spiritual faculties that lie beneath ordinary consciousness. Ibn Arabi often refers to these faculties as the subtle capacities of the soul that perceive the divine realities hidden from ordinary perception. When Surah Ikhlas is recited 3 times with sincere attention, the vibrations of the words awaken these latent faculties, enabling the seeker to experience divine truths directly rather than merely conceptually. This awakening is not abrupt or overwhelming. It is gradual, gentle, and persistent, like a soft light spreading steadily across a darkened room. With every repetition, the resonance strengthens, and the inner faculties become more attuned to the divine, allowing the seeker to recognize the sacred patterns that structure existence and to perceive the interconnectedness of all life as a harmonious expression of divine unity. Repetition as resonance also affects the subtle energies within the human body and consciousness. Ibn Arabi explains that these energies respond naturally to conscious engagement with sacred words. When the surah is recited with attention, the resonance produced by the repetition creates vibrations that flow through the subtle channels of the soul, harmonizing the inner faculties and creating an inner balance that allows the divine light to shine more clearly within. This process transforms the recitation from a mere verbal exercise into a profound spiritual practice, where the seeker's awareness, perception, and inner energy are all synchronized with the subtle currents of divine illumination. The repeated alignment with these currents fosters a deep sense of peace, spiritual clarity, and an intuitive understanding of the sacred rhythms of life. The resonance produced by the threefold recitation extends beyond the individual consciousness. Ibn Arabi suggests that when a seeker resonates with the hidden light through conscious repetition, this subtle vibration connects them with the larger tapestry of creation, which itself is an expression of divine unity and harmony. The practice, therefore, is not only a means of personal awakening, but also a way of harmonizing one's being with the cosmic order. Each repetition serves as a thread that links the individual soul to the universal flow of divine presence, creating a sense of interconnectedness and attunement that transcends the boundaries of the self. The recitation of Surah Ikhlas 3 times is a practice of resonance, not merely repetition. Ibn Arabi teaches that this resonance awakens dormant spiritual faculties, aligns the seeker with divine currents, and fosters a deep perception of the sacred harmony that underlies all creation. Through this practice, the mind becomes quiet, the heart becomes receptive, and the soul opens to the subtle illumination of God's hidden light. It is a transformative process that engages both consciousness and subtle energies, creating a living connection with the divine presence. The threefold recitation of Ikhlas is therefore not just a ritual, it is a gateway to profound spiritual awakening, enabling the seeker to experience the inner harmony, clarity, and illumination that arise from the resonance of sacred words attuned to the eternal divine reality. While the words of the Quran carry meaning and guidance, Ibn Arabi teaches that the true essence of Surah Ikhlas goes far beyond the literal letters, sounds, and intellectual interpretations. The hidden light within this surah is not confined to its external form or the structure of its words. It is a subtle, living energy that resonates directly with the soul of the seeker. It is an experiential reality, one that cannot be fully captured by thought, logic, or language, because it belongs to a dimension of being that transcends ordinary human perception. When we recite Surah Ikhlas 3 times with sincere attention, we are engaging not just the intellect but the heart and the inner self, creating a bridge between human consciousness and the divine reality that the surah embodies. Each repetition is a step toward moving beyond the limitations of conceptual understanding into a direct, felt awareness of the sacred truths it contains. In ordinary life, human understanding is heavily dependent on language and concepts. We interpret reality, make sense of experiences, and navigate the world primarily through words, symbols, and intellectual frameworks. While this is necessary for day-to-day functioning, it is also inherently limited, because the deepest truths of existence, such as the oneness of God, the hidden light of the soul, and the unity of all creation, cannot be fully captured in words. Ibn Arabi emphasizes that the letters and sounds of Surah Ikhlas are a means, not an end. They serve as a vessel to convey a deeper, ineffable reality that can only be truly known through experience. When recited consciously 3 times, these words begin to awaken the inner faculties of the soul, creating an experiential resonance that surpasses intellectual comprehension. The seeker begins to perceive the meaning not with the mind alone, but with the inner eye, the heart, and the subtle senses of the spirit. Reciting Surah Ikhlas in this way allows the soul to move from an external, analytical understanding of God's unity to an internal, living realization of it. Each repetition deepens the connection between the seeker and the hidden light contained within the surah, gradually dissolving the limitations imposed by language and the conceptual mind. The hidden light is like a subtle current flowing beneath the surface of the words. It can be felt and experienced, but it cannot be fully articulated. The process of reciting 3 times, with focus and presence, is therefore a practical method for transcending the ordinary ways we comprehend reality. It trains the heart and soul to perceive the divine directly, to sense the unity that underlies multiplicity, and to recognize the subtle illumination that flows from the eternal source of all being. Ibn Arabi often explains that this type of realization requires more than intellectual effort. The mind alone, with its categories, definitions, and reasoning, can only take us so far. True comprehension of the hidden light within Surah Ikhlas comes through the alignment of heart, soul, and consciousness. The threefold recitation facilitates this alignment by creating a rhythm that quiets the mind and allows the subtle dimensions of awareness to awaken. In this quiet space, the seeker experiences a direct encounter with divine reality, an awareness that transcends form, sound, and language. The surah's repetition becomes a meditative practice that cultivates a receptive inner state, enabling the seeker to move beyond the limitations of words into the experiential knowledge of oneness and unity. The process of transcending form and language is transformative in the way the seeker perceives both self and creation. As the hidden light of the surah illuminates the soul, one begins to see that the multiplicity of the world is not separate from the divine essence. Every form, every event, and every being is perceived as a manifestation of the same underlying unity. The intellect may label and differentiate, but the heart, attuned to the hidden light through repeated recitation, perceives the seamless flow of divine presence throughout all existence. This experience fosters humility, reverence, and a sense of profound interconnectedness, as the seeker realizes that language is a tool for pointing toward reality, not reality itself. The surah, in its essence, is an invitation to leave behind reliance on external forms and to enter into the living, luminous reality that it embodies. The hidden light that emerges through threefold recitation also cultivates a sense of presence and awareness that permeates daily life. As the seeker becomes attuned to this subtle illumination, they begin to notice divine patterns, the subtle guidance of the soul, and the interconnectedness of all things in creation. This awareness is not abstract, it is practical and lived. It shapes perception, thought, and action, encouraging the seeker to live in harmony with the divine unity that flows through every moment. By transcending the limitations of form and language, the seeker learns to experience God not merely as an idea, but as an intimate, living reality present within and around them. Reciting Surah Ikhlas 3 times is an invitation to experience the surah in its fullness, beyond words, beyond intellectual analysis, and beyond external forms. Ibn Arabi teaches that the hidden light contained within the surah is a living reality that can be felt, known, and experienced directly through the soul. Each repetition of the surah draws the seeker closer to this reality, opening the heart, expanding consciousness, and illuminating the subtle truths of divine unity. This process is a journey from external understanding to internal realization, from conceptual knowledge to direct experience, and from ordinary perception to spiritual awakening. Through this practice, the seeker begins to recognize the ineffable beauty, harmony, and illumination that lie at the very heart of existence, discovering the hidden light of God that transcends all form, sound, and language. The hidden light awakened through the recitation of Surah Ikhlas 3 times is not meant to remain confined to moments of meditation or isolated spiritual reflection. Ibn Arabi teaches that the true purpose of this illumination is to transform every aspect of a seeker's life, guiding not only the inner state of the heart, but also the outer expressions of thought, intention, and action. When this hidden light begins to awaken, it naturally permeates daily experiences, influencing the way the seeker perceives, responds, and engages with the world. It is a subtle yet profound presence, a continuous flow of divine awareness that reminds the practitioner that the sacred is not separate from ordinary life, but is intricately woven into every encounter, task, and relationship. The recitation of Surah Ikhlas 3 times acts as a practice that nurtures this awareness, training the heart to recognize the unity behind the multiplicity of life and to carry the resonance of divine illumination into every moment. The hidden light brings a new depth to the simplest actions. When one moves, speaks, or interacts with others, these actions begin to reflect the clarity, presence, and consciousness cultivated through repeated engagement with the surah. Tasks that may have once felt mundane or mechanical are transformed into opportunities for awareness, connection, and expression of the divine. For example, moments of work, conversation, or care for others become opportunities to see the reflection of the hidden light in the world, revealing that all forms, beings, and experiences are interconnected and expressions of the same underlying divine unity. Ibn Arabi emphasizes that spiritual practice does not isolate the seeker from life. Rather, it imbues life with meaning, guiding attention toward the presence of the sacred in all things. The awakening of this light also transforms the seeker's perception, gradually revealing the interconnectedness and underlying harmony of existence. Ordinary perception often divides the world into separate, unrelated parts, creating a sense of fragmentation and disconnection. However, through the awareness cultivated by the threefold recitation of Surah Ikhlas, the seeker begins to recognize that all events, circumstances, and beings are part of a unified divine order. The light illuminates patterns that were previously hidden, enabling the practitioner to see cause and effect, intention and consequence, and the subtle ways in which divine wisdom manifests in the world. By perceiving life through this lens, one gains insight not only into spiritual matters, but also into practical realities, approaching decisions, relationships, and challenges with a clarity grounded in the awareness of unity. Another dimension of the hidden light in daily life is its ability to cultivate compassion and empathy. As the heart becomes more attuned to divine presence, the seeker begins to perceive the divine essence within all beings, recognizing that every soul reflects the same ultimate reality. This awareness naturally softens judgment, reduces conflict, and fosters patience, kindness, and understanding in interpersonal interactions. Ibn Arabi teaches that when the hidden light flows through the heart, it nurtures a holistic perspective, one in which the well-being of others, ethical action, and moral discernment are understood as inseparable from spiritual awareness. In this way, the recitation of Ikhlas 3 times is not only a personal spiritual exercise, but also a practice that enriches relationships, social behavior, and the seeker's contribution to the world. The hidden light also enhances clarity of thought and intention. When the heart and mind are illuminated by divine awareness, the seeker can act with discernment, choosing paths aligned with higher principles and avoiding distractions that lead to confusion or error. Daily life becomes a field of practice, where spiritual principles are not theoretical ideas, but practical guides for living in harmony with the divine order. Every decision, from small choices to significant life directions, is informed by an inner clarity that arises from the ongoing resonance of the surah. Ibn Arabi emphasizes that this is the real measure of spiritual awakening. When the hidden light flows into ordinary life, it shapes behavior, intention, and perception in ways that reflect the divine reality at the heart of existence. The hidden light in daily life fosters presence and mindfulness. When recited consciously 3 times, Surah Ikhlas creates a rhythm and awareness that the seeker carries beyond formal practice into every waking moment. The light trains the heart to remain attentive, to perceive subtle truths, and to respond with wisdom rather than reaction. Ordinary experiences are no longer filtered through distraction, ego, or habit. They are infused with awareness of the sacred unity underlying all phenomena. In this awakened state, the seeker moves through life with a sense of harmony, balance, and alignment with divine principles, recognizing that every interaction and circumstance can serve as an opportunity to embody the hidden light. The hidden light is a transformative energy that bridges inner spiritual realization with outer practical living. Ibn Arabi emphasizes that spiritual illumination is not complete if it remains isolated from daily experience. It must radiate outward, influencing perception, thought, action, and interaction with the world. The threefold recitation of Surah Ikhlas serves as both a practice of inner awakening and a method for integrating divine awareness into everyday life. The seeker learns to perceive the reflection of unity in all things, to act with clarity, compassion, and presence, and to navigate life with an understanding of the sacred patterns that govern existence. Through this practice, the hidden light becomes not only a source of spiritual understanding, but also a guide for practical wisdom, a force that harmonizes the inner and outer dimensions of life, and a constant reminder of the divine presence that permeates all aspects of creation. The recitation of Surah Ikhlas 3 times is, at its deepest level, an invitation to presence, a call to dwell fully in the eternal moment where the hidden light of the divine naturally resides. Ibn Arabi teaches that this light is not something distant, abstract, or confined to rare mystical experiences. Rather, it is a constant reality, always available to the seeker who is willing to open the heart and attune to its subtle radiance. By engaging with the surah repeatedly, with sincere attention and mindfulness, the seeker is invited to step away from the distractions of past regrets, future anxieties, and the incessant chatter of the mind, and to immerse themselves in the living now, where every word resonates with the presence of the One. This practice is a profound reminder that true spiritual awakening does not occur through intellectual effort alone, nor through accumulation of knowledge, but through direct, experiential realization, where the soul recognizes the hidden light as an intimate, living reality within itself. Ibn Arabi emphasizes that the seeker's primary task in this practice is to receive the illumination with an open and receptive heart. The heart functions as the essential gateway through which the hidden light enters consciousness, dissolving illusions and dissolving the veils of attachment, ego, and superficial understanding. Unlike the intellect, which often separates, categorizes, and analyzes, the heart perceives the unity behind all appearances and experiences the subtleties of divine presence in a direct, immediate way. Each recitation of Surah Ikhlas 3 times strengthens the heart's capacity to receive, allowing the light to gradually permeate deeper layers of being. This process does not force awareness, but invites it, nurturing patience, gentleness, and attentiveness in the seeker, and creating a receptive space where insight, clarity, and spiritual understanding naturally arise. The hidden light awakened through repeated recitation carries transformative power. It reveals the underlying divine reality that exists within every moment and every aspect of life. Illusions created by egoic thought, habitual perception, and attachment to material outcomes begin to dissolve, allowing the seeker to perceive the world and themselves from a perspective of clarity, unity, and divine harmony. In this awakened state, life is no longer experienced as a series of disconnected events or challenges, but as a seamless manifestation of sacred order, where every experience is imbued with meaning, every interaction is an opportunity for awareness, and every moment reflects the continuous presence of the divine. The practice of threefold recitation thus becomes both a spiritual exercise and a daily guide, teaching the seeker to live consciously in alignment with the hidden light that permeates all existence. This invitation to presence cultivates a deep sense of inner stillness. The mind, often preoccupied with endless thoughts, worries, and judgments, gradually becomes quiet through sustained, attentive repetition of the surah. In this stillness, the seeker discovers a sacred space within themselves, a place of calm, awareness, and intimate connection with the divine. Ibn Arabi describes this as the realm where the hidden light dwells, subtle, luminous, and ever-present, yet accessible only when the heart and consciousness are fully attentive. By remaining in this state of presence, even briefly, the seeker begins to experience the profound peace, clarity, and insight that the hidden light offers, learning to navigate life from a place of inner equilibrium and divine attunement rather than distraction and confusion. The practice also emphasizes attunement to the sacred rhythm of Surah Ikhlas. Each word, when recited with awareness, carries a subtle vibration that resonates with the deeper currents of existence. By repeating the surah 3 times, the seeker aligns themselves with these currents, gradually synchronizing the rhythm of their heart, mind, and spirit with the sacred flow of divine presence. This attunement allows the hidden light to become a living guide, illuminating the path, informing decisions, and providing clarity in moments of uncertainty. The rhythm is not merely external or audible, it is felt deeply within the inner self, fostering a sense of harmony, connectedness, and alignment with the eternal principles that govern both the cosmos and the soul. Ibn Arabi reminds seekers that the invitation to presence is open to all who are willing to attune themselves sincerely to the practice. The hidden light is not restricted to a particular class, level of knowledge, or spiritual attainment. It is accessible to every soul that approaches the surah with devotion, awareness, and intention. The threefold recitation is a practical method to cultivate this receptivity, offering a structured approach to experience the ineffable reality of God's unity in a tangible, felt way. It bridges the gap between ordinary consciousness and mystical realization, transforming the act of recitation into a living spiritual dialogue where the seeker and the divine presence engage in intimate, ongoing communion. Surah Ikhlas, recited 3 times, is an invitation to awaken to the present, to live fully in the eternal now, and to receive the hidden light with an open heart. It dissolves illusions, unveils profound insight, and guides the seeker toward direct experiential knowledge of divine reality. Ibn Arabi teaches that this light is not something to be studied or analyzed solely with the mind. It is a living, dynamic presence that can be perceived, felt, and integrated into every aspect of life. By embracing this invitation, the seeker experiences a transformation that extends beyond meditation into daily living, where every thought, action, and moment becomes a reflection of the hidden light, allowing the soul to dwell in awareness, clarity, and unity with the divine. Through consistent practice and heartfelt attention, the seeker learns that the present moment, illuminated by the surah, is itself a portal to the eternal, a gateway where the hidden light shines continually, offering guidance, presence, and spiritual awakening to all who are willing to receive it. The journey through Surah Ikhlas, recited 3 times, is far more than a ritual. It is an invitation to awaken, to illuminate, and to live in the presence of the hidden light that Ibn Arabi so profoundly described. Each recitation opens a door, not just to understanding, but to experiencing the unity and oneness of the divine within and around us. This light is subtle yet transformative, quietly dissolving illusions, awakening insight, and aligning the heart with the eternal reality that underlies all existence. As seekers, we are called to carry this light beyond the moment of recitation, letting it guide our perception, our actions, and our intentions in daily life. It is a light that does not impose, but gently reveals the interconnectedness of all things, illuminating the sacred in the ordinary and inviting us to dwell fully in the present. In this presence, the mind becomes still, the heart receptive, and the soul attuned to the rhythms of the unseen, the eternal, and the divine. The hidden light of Surah Ikhlas is a reminder that spiritual realization is not distant or abstract, but living and accessible to every soul willing to open itself with sincerity, awareness, and devotion. By reciting with intention, reflecting deeply, and carrying this awareness into our daily lives, we align ourselves with a divine harmony that transcends form, words, and intellect, revealing the profound unity of all creation. May this practice awaken your inner vision, illuminate the heart, and guide you to a state of presence where the hidden light is ever shining within, around, and through you, inviting you to live in the quiet, profound beauty of God's eternal reality.